a doting son. At this hour, he stands accused in the vicious murder of his own mom. But tonight, in a surprising twist, Ruth Pine's husband, Jeffrey's father, the neighbors, the former teachers, they all agree the wrong guy is locked up. Jeffrey Pine is innocent, and tonight that means a killer is walking free. We are taking your calls. I want to go straight out to Jinkosaurus, legal correspondent in session. Jinkosaurus, they're keeping it very, very close to the vest. Why this young man, who's frankly everything a mom would want her son to grow up to be, why he is charged in the brutal death of his mother.
Well, here's a challenge for this young man. This was an extremely personal crime. This 51-year-old mother of two was found dead in her garage by her daughter. She had been brutally beat in the head repeatedly, like by a 2x4, and she'd been stabbed 16 times in her neck.
You know, also, Jean, I was assessing the crime scene. She's found in the garage. That means outside the living space, but yet still in the home. That is very, very important as to the identity of the killer. There was no sex attack. Nothing was stolen that we know of. The home was not ransacked. The car, there was no evidence there was going to be a carjacking out of that garage. So what's the motive for murder if it was none of those things?
Well, no signs of forced entry. You're right. It seems like there was blood on some of the faucets. Thus, somebody tried to clean it up. It was in 2010 that this very, very severely mentally ill mother attacked her own son, the one that is now accused with her murder. She beat him up and she tried to strangle him. So prosecutors may say that he held a grudge, that he had a motive, and he had a motive for murdering his own mother.
To Michael Christian, senior field producer with In Session, who's covering the case. Michael, it's my understanding that she, due to her mental illness, started attacking her son when he was about 9 years old. That's just a couple of years older than my babies, John, David, and Lucy. And attacking a 9-year-old boy, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a very, very sad story, Nancy. Apparently, by all reports, the attack started as early as when he was 9 or 10. He's 22 now. He was 21 when he allegedly killed his mother. As Jean said, the mother, Ruth Pine, was arrested, jailed at one point for attacking her son. That was approximately 9 months before she was killed. And at that point, she was released after about 2 weeks from jail under the condition that she take her daily medications in front of her husband so that he could witness that she'd taken them, because otherwise authorities were just afraid she would not take her medicine and the situation would never get any better.
So wait, let me get this straight. She attacks her 9-year-old son. She gets no jail time. She viciously attacks him, tries to strangle him, and she basically gets a lecture, a very brief lecture from the judge, and is told, okay, little lady, go home and take your meds and you be a good girl. Okay.
Well, by all accounts, when she took her meds, she was fine, and everybody says that. But obviously, like so many people who have these problems, you take your meds for a while, you feel better, and you think, I can do without.
Michael Christian.
That was something they absolutely
didn't want to happen. I'm not going to even ask you
her.
how many trials you and I have covered together. Some you covered when I was still a prosecutor. That's just like saying Jeffrey Dahmer's a great guy as long as he's not in the kitchen. You know what? So just save that for me. All right? Just hold that. We're all talking about the mom, how awful she is. Well, you know what? She's not the issue anymore. She's dead. This 51-year-old mother of two was found brutally beaten and stabbed to death. There were 16 stab wounds to the neck and the upper torso.